Next, this is the last thing Turkey and Syria needed right now. 2 more earthquakes have rocked the devastated regions, where more than 46,000 people have already died and even more injured after the first quakes there just over 2 weeks ago. Well, let's show you where these fresh earthquakes have actually struck and taken place. But before we do that, let's give you some context. So this is where the first 2 of magnitude 7.8 and also magnitude 7.5 hit earlier this month. The epicenters were near the city of Gaziantep, and 23 million people have been directly affected by them, with hundreds of thousands of people left without shelter. OK, so let's take you to where the latest earthquakes hit just yesterday evening. The first was magnitude 6.4 and the second measuring 5.8. Both hit in the town of Defne in southern Turkey, just a few minutes apart. And it's not completely clear how many people have died as a result of these new quakes, but government officials say hundreds have been left injured on both sides of the border in an area still deeply traumatised, as Simon Weiger reports.
2 weeks on, and it's not over yet. This is Hatay province, one of the worst affected a fortnight ago. Since then, there have been 7,000 aftershocks of varying strengths. This 6.4 earthquake was followed 3 minutes later by one measuring 5.8. Buildings which were already weak came down, but so many people had already evacuated, last night's death toll was relatively low. For those who had stayed, it simply added to the terror. But aftershocks, and big aftershocks, are a geological fact as the tectonic plates realign.
After an event of this size, magnitude 7.8 earthquake about 2 weeks ago, it is very much expected that there will be a sequence of earthquakes in the weeks and months following that earthquake, typically with gradually decaying size of the events.
Those who couldn't leave were once again forced out onto the streets. At least they were safe from falling masonry there. And it wasn't just Turkey. Syria was also affected last night. This is Idlib. The quakes were also felt in Jordan, Cyprus, Israel and Egypt. I spoke with one British aid worker based in Hatay.
Last night we heard reports of people in northern Syria jumping out of windows because they were so scared when the earthquake started. We know that people were running out into the streets. Many people are actually staying in tents outside their houses at the moment, rather than going in because they're too afraid to sleep inside.
And there are still amazing stories of hope. This baby was born in Jinderis in Syria 2 weeks ago amid the rubble. Her mother died, but her uncle cut the umbilical cord. The baby has just left hospital and been adopted by her aunt and uncle. He says she is even dearer than my children because she'll keep alive the memory of her father, mother and siblings. The baby has been named Afra, after her mother. Simon Weiger, 5 News,